Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Ryan, back with another podcast. I got Kyron over here. What's up, dude?
What's up? Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. We had a good conversation last time, and this time we got on someone pretty interesting. His name is Young Los. You can reach him at YVNGLOS_ on Instagram.
What's poppin', y'all? One of the biggest topics I be thinking about is lack of motivation, honestly. A lot of people tend to lay back too much in what they do and what they want to do in life, you know what I mean? But if you really want something in life, you really got to chase after every single day. Like, it ain't just going to fall in your lap. You got to really chase after it.
Yeah. So, I know we've talked about this before, Kyron. Like, the number one thing that kind of bothers us is people being lazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And COVID, I don't know what you guys think, definitely exacerbated that, like, times 10. Definitely a downfall.
Yeah.
To lockdowns and stuff. What do you think about that?
For sure. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, people were just sitting around for years. So it's like now that you got to go back to society, back to work, and because all that extra stuff is getting cut off.
Yeah.
It's kind of
getting like checks and stuff.
Yeah. Not only that, but everything's opened up. So it's like everyone wants to do stuff, go out and with their friends and stuff, reconnect with people, all that. And then, they're like, damn, I actually have to work. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back, So I feel like that's definitely been a good effect on people, and especially since it's summer too. But
a lot of people starting to work from home now too, like especially tech jobs. They're not even going to offices. Even there's no restrictions and stuff. They're just like, come in once a week or whatever. It's like,
I think it definitely makes people mentally weak and physically weak at the same time. Because when you're not, like, it's like your regular scheduled program. If you're not going, waking up at 7 a.m. every day, when COVID hit, people was just sleeping in. So it was more of I could just lay back and have the government feed my pockets type of deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the problem with society was. Like, well, still is, not even was, because it's still going on. I think a lot of people are tending to think that working ain't it. People just think stuff's gonna be handed to them later down the line in life, but you gotta really work for what you want at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Even that, so let's say you're getting like a paycheck, right? Where does the money come from? The government. Where does the government get the money? Through taxes and stuff. They could print it like they have been doing, but for them to tax people, you have to work and you have to create equity and shit. But I don't know about you guys. At first, it definitely kind of felt good to
for sure.
just lay back and relax and
for sure.
kind of not do anything. I mean, I had online classes and stuff, but doing it from my bed. How did COVID impact you guys at first? Was it hard?
I thought it was weird, to be honest. Like, just the whole quarantine, all that. Like, I felt like it's more of a plot twist behind it. Like, this was more looked at like, later down the line in life, we're going to make this year a year. We're going to isolate the human population. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it just happened. I think it was a whole plan behind it, to be honest, in my opinion.
I feel that. I feel like at first it was cool and all, you didn't have to work as much. I mean, I worked through it, but, hours were cut and stuff like that because you don't have that many people coming in, so you don't need that many people on shift. And, at first it was cool and stuff like that, but, like, after a while, it's like, damn, like, I'm not reaching my goals. I'm not doing what I want to do. So it's like, I don't know. It was, like, a little weird, stressful. It was the best way I feel like to put it, because you're like, I want to do these things, but I can't because of all the restrictions and stuff like that. So it's really like, damn, it's going to take a toll on, like, what you're trying to do, or, it's like a bump in the road of the path you're trying to take.
New York got wicked bad. I remember seeing I'm pretty sure at one point they started like burning bodies. That's how bad it got, which is crazy.
Dude.
And it's crazy because it's like, you look at it, life is a cycle, you know what I mean? And it seems like the cycle is repeating. Because if you go back, not even to like bring into like crazy topic, but for example, look at Hitler, concentration camps. They were burning the bodies. They were doing all that. And it wasn't obviously due to them being sick. It was due to their religion and all that. But still, look at it. It's like the cycle is re-going again. Like, they're bringing that back. And it's kind of scary because I think it's going to get to the point they're gonna really try to break up the United States into divisions. Like, look at the Hunger Games, for example. You look at movies, and movies definitely aren't just, I'm gonna sit there and write a movie.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
definitely, you
yeah.
know something that not everybody knows. That's how I look at it.
For sure, I feel like what you're trying to say is like movies are they're like, let me just throw it out there to see what the general population thinks. If they freak out, we're not going to continue talking about it, but we'll do it behind the scenes. But if we're there, we're cool with it, just like we've been cool with aliens, all that other shit. You know, that shit's definitely real. You know,
Yeah, what the heck?
it's like, you know,
Out of nowhere, the
Yeah.
Pentagon releases a bunch of documents. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, we have no idea what this is, and we haven't for like, what, 20 years?
Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. So it's like, and then that other stuff too. I don't know if you guys saw the documents they released too. Right after that, it's all that stuff about, you know, leaving your body through meditation and all that stuff. I forget what it's exactly called.
Like an out-of-body experience?
Yeah, they're just saying that that's
crazy.
realistic. Like, you could literally make your mind, like, bring your, you know, mind and soul out of your body, and
Who?
then you could just do it.
Who said that?
It's online. I don't know the exact person, or doctor, whoever, but it was a government person who released it, and, you know, they're just like, fuck it, let's just have it on WikiLeaks or whatever. So
Can't trust Wikipedia.
Like,
Never.
what do you do? I know at least for me, but I don't know about you guys. What do you do when you have unlimited money? Because in my life, it's like, oh, I kind of want to make a lot of money, and I'm not there yet. But what kind of life would I be living if I had unlimited money? And you have to think some people in this world have unlimited money. So
I feel like
where do you go after that?
I feel like if you have unlimited money, I feel like you're gonna start to lose your mind. You know what I mean? Because it's like you can only do so much with this money. So even the fact of the money just sitting there, it's gonna start to like fuck with your head. It's not like you can be happy. Like me personally, I don't think money is happiness. But obviously, you're gonna want a lot of money later down the line. You know what I mean? You want to at least be comfortable in life. You don't want to be just getting by with everything. You want to be able to say you can do this 4 times a day and that 10 times a week. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire. But what really matters is what you want to do when you're a millionaire. It's not just being a millionaire. It's about how you could make your money even speak for you as a person. Like, you could go start charity funds. You could go back to your neighborhoods, rebuild houses. You know what I mean? It's all about what you do with your craft at the end of the day. It's not what the craft just shows.
I feel that. That's a good
Definitely.
way to put it.
Yeah, you have to lose your mind. You know, it goes to something else.
Yeah, because
Right.
you can only do so much.
Yeah.
It's like, it gets to the point, like, if you could buy everything, what is there to buy? You know what I mean? And that's when you're going to start to sit there and be like, what can I buy?
Yeah.
And then that's just going to be a repeating thought.
It's kind of like, it may seem funny, but cheat codes in GTA 5, right? When you unlock all the money, you
So
really
what
don't,
do
you
you
don't
do?
play GTA 5 for that long after.
Oh, hell no.
It's like, I've done everything.
Hey, it's 2021. I still play that shit, though.
I'm still waiting on GTA 6, so.
They actually announced the trailer today.
No way.
Yeah, and it got deleted. So there's something going on. It's coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. It's on the
I
way.
saw it. It's supposed to be all the maps combined, like a mega map, just like the Far
What?
Cry maps. Like, it's going to take you 15 minutes just to get across the map.
Yeah, like
Never mind, do the missions.
you ever play, I think it was called The Crew. I think you could just like drive around the U.S. I think that's what that shit was called. But I remember it took like probably like sitting there, definitely like 3 hours to drive from like Boston to LA. Yo, I remember I was sitting there one night just driving. Like I was just going down the highways just for hours. And I'm like, yo, only if life was really like this, because like if it took 3 hours to drive to LA, I'd go to LA right now. Like I'm out, like no hesitation.
Why not? City
Just-
never sleeps. But yeah, I feel like with the whole unlimited money thing, like that is a question. Like it is speaks of your character. If you did have that, like, what are you gonna do? You gonna give back, or are you gonna be selfish and like buy a bunch of islands or whatever the hell, buy everything that you can possibly do? But at the end of the day, it's like that's not the only thing that's gonna make you happy. You definitely need like family and friends and stuff like that to do and stuff and go out, because you could have a Lambo, but it's gonna be lonely when you're riding around and got nothing to do.
I mean, they
Yeah.
do say though, the bus got 30 seats and the Bugatti got 2 for a reason. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
Because as unfortunate it is, it really does get lonely at the top. So when you really locked in and you focus on what you're doing, not many people gonna be as focused as you. Because at the end of the day, you gonna want the best for your career. Nobody's gonna want the best for your career more than you. If that makes sense. I don't know. If
No, that makes
but-
sense.
It makes perfect
That's
sense.
that's Mac Miller in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
He talked about being lonely all the time, like
Yeah.
in his songs, being rich.
But yeah, he was. I
RP
mean,
Mac.
Yeah,
For-
seriously.
he was a good artist
Yeah.
for sure.
Just because you're rich doesn't
yeah.
make you happy.
I mean, look at that. Like, all those artists do that. Like, Jeezy did that song, Me, Myself, and I. And, like, I don't know if you guys watched the video to that, but it's all about speaking how, like, he's at parties and all this stuff. He has a girlfriend that wants to go out and do stuff all the time, but he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to, like, kind of be alone, but at the same time, it's lonely by yourself. And like you said, you only have yourself in the end, so... But, the artists definitely speak out on that, like, it is definitely lonely once the higher you get in life and succeed. But, at the end of the day, it's all about what makes you happy, I feel like. Because, there's people who are broke, like, barely have, just making it by, and they're happy as hell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, but at the same time, there's also people who are rich and love it because they can do what they want, go wherever. So, I feel like it's all not really, like, what you have, what you do, where you're at. I feel like it's more out of perspective. Like,
Definitely.
how do you look at life? Like, are you happy with the things around you, the people around you? If not, then you probably just need to change, You don't really need someone to rely on and be your happiness. It's all from within. So as long as you're just doing what makes you happy, you're good to go.
Yeah, money or no money. Like, definitely not having money brings challenges, right?
Oh, of course.
Obviously.
Of course.
Because it makes you think what you can really do with yourself to put yourself in a better position.
Yeah.
Because when you got to look at it like this, for example, like, let's say for even this area, you got local artists trying to ass off every day, but then you're going to have someone just on the internet the next day blow up just due to the fact they had money behind their name. Because that's what it is, especially in the music industry. If you ain't got funds, you're not going to make a run, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people tend to make it with their careers is because they have people behind them. They have a team. At the end of the day, like, they do say it gets lonely at the top, but you always going to have your team because you don't just do it by yourself. And that's one of the major keys, I feel like, with even everything. Like, for example, you play basketball. You say you in college. You going to win March Madness because of your team, not just because of you. Like, even with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, all these players, Kobe Bryant, they wasn't winning by themselves. They didn't get all their rings by themselves. They always had a team with them. And that's how I see things. It's like, you always going to want to have structure. You're going to want to put the blueprint out, but you got to make sure you got structure with the blueprint.
Definitely. 100%. And you need that healthy criticism around you too.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Someone to check you when you're getting out of hand or
Yeah, in a
you're
healthy
worrying
way,
about the
not
wrong
just
things.
hating.
Oh,
Like,
no.
yeah, in a healthy
I know
way.
what you mean. It's like, hey, why are you focused on that when we got to do this right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something we do later down the line. I feel that. But I feel like it's not all about the funds, though, with stuff. I feel like, too, it's all about who you know. Connections are definitely a key to life because, you're not going to sit here and start a business and just hope that people see your sign outside. You're going to have promoters, people, ads, stuff like that. And that's the same way everything you do, Like I just said, a business. If you do, you're an artist, painter, musician, whatever, you're going to, know people so that you can get your stuff out there, people who want to buy that type of product. Supply and demand. You got to find that demand. And you got to find people who know them. So I feel like you definitely need to make sure that, some good people in the fields that you want to, achieve in.
Yeah, definitely. There's certain professions that rely on who you know rather than like what you can do. Politics, easily.
For sure.
Probably at the top.
Definitely.
Things that are unionized. It doesn't even matter. I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was asking him questions about the union and stuff. He's in the elevators union, and he's like, dude, you just got to know somebody. Like, obviously, you have to be competent and know how to do the work.
Yeah.
But
it's all about someone that could vouch for you at the end of the day.
exactly. And he was saying how there's a bunch of other guys that can kind of do the same work you can do. But a lot of people are not going to know people within, right? Because the union is a small subset of people. So, I don't know. Kind of sucks. I wish there was a way to, like, figure out how can we get the best person for the job or profession, but I don't know, unrealistic. If you think about it.
For sure. You know, you want the people you work with are like to do the projects that you're trying to work on, to be like able to work together. So you don't want just some random people just coming up and messing up whatever you're trying to build, whatever you're trying to work on. So I feel like that's definitely a big part, you know. I've definitely learned that in the past with jobs and, you know, other social things I try to do. And it's just like, you know, people just want to destroy that. So you got to be careful who's around you, for sure, you know. Because at the same time, you and whoever else is trying to build something, the person's over here giving your plans away or what you're going to do next and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden you got a competition with someone that you didn't even know was there.
For sure. And you got to be careful with people just trying to run off with what you started. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that tend to do that in this world. They ain't going to give the credit where it's due. And that's the thing. People are too ashamed to admit they're inspired by something. And they rather say it's more them when it's inspiration. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, with music, you got new artists going global every day. But when you going global, there's always going to be that one person that's going to be like, yo, you remind me of so-and-so. And so-and-so reminds me of so-and-so. You know what I mean? But, like, those are the trials and tribulations of life. You just got to, like, it's not avoid, but you either take that to an advantage. Like, for example, if they said I sounded like Drake, I'm going to turn around and look at that person and be like, thank you. You know what I mean? Because, like, if you saying I'm sounding like Drake, that means I'm doing something right. Like, all my points are pinpointing. It's not like I'm going off track. I'm definitely headed in the right direction if you want to compare me to someone like that.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. People are not used to new. It could be a sound. It could be anything, a TV show, like something new at first. And I feel like at a point, like the first time Drake dropped an album, people were like, yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
Soldier Boy.
He's from Degrassi.
Like, he's all right. You know, maybe he'll do it for a while and then end up doing something else. Look at him now.
I think he just, what was it, Artist of the Decade? That's crazy. I couldn't imagine, like, winning something like that. I mean, I could imagine it, but I'm just saying,
crazy.
Like, yeah, that feeling, I can't. Like, Drake went out and I think he rented, like, a football field to have dinner after that show. Like,
why not?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I touch that award, I'm def doing something, like, crazy. Like, I'm shutting the city down type. Because it's like, there's no, like, you can't even explain that feeling.
That from you.
You know what I mean?
You're artist of the
it's being
decade.
in the throne at that point. If they saying you're the artist of the decade, there was nobody on your tier for the past 10 years. That's how you got to look at it.
It's like, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't even know.
We're talking about a guy that has so much money. Pretty sure it was him. That his neighbors were complaining about like noise complaints. His rich neighbors. So he bought the house.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right?
That's just
like,
insane. Nah, you know how I look at it? Like, I couldn't imagine. Well, I couldn't explain or, like, even think of an explanation of how it feels to be Drake. Just think about it, like, his house alone. His house is bigger than the White House, which is the president's home. His house is probably one of the biggest in, well, that's a whole nother country, Canada, but if we were all in one, it'd probably be one of the biggest houses in the nation. He has, like, at least, I don't even know what it was square footage, but I gotta look this up. This one was,
that's crazy.
like, this was mind blowing. I sat there. I feel like you definitely seen the video. It was like 2 hours long.
It was ridiculous. I watched the video and dude, his pool's like a mini, like lake. Like,
Not
No,
even,
dumb.
it's the Red Sea in his
It's-
backyard.
It's dumb. Like,
The Red
it's like, what do
Sea.
you even do with all that water? You can drown like
bet-
multiple people.
I bet the upkeep is like above the American like average salary.
Oh,
Just the
yeah.
upkeep on that pool.
No,
Or lake or
just
whatever.
to pay the workers is very retarded. Like,
This is scary. You want to hear how much square feet his house is?
what is it?
50,000.
50K square feet.
Like, what song was it? I think it was a song on Young Thug's album. He was like, he literally said in the song, damn it, fuck, Drake, don't get mad at me if you ever see this later down the line. But he said, honestly, I gotta look up your lyrics, bro. I know too many of your lyrics for me to remember that one song. Where is it? I just know he mentions his house, and it was just like in the slickest, but like,
Dude, you gotta think of it like
most
this.
disrespectful way
He
ever.
calls his house the embassy.
That's what I mean. He
No,
said-
This
he
man
doesn't.
says,
Oh, this is what he said. Walking from here to my bedroom, it feels like it's miles away.
yo,
Imagine getting lost in your own house.
Imagine being the person to say, okay, Toronto Raptors, I'm building you a practice facility. Like, your team don't gotta do it. I'ma do it. Oh, if you want, you can come to my house after dinner and we can practice at my house too, because I have a full court basketball court in my house. Like, that's just,
crazy.
at that point, it's like,
Might as well own
like
it.
you said, what do you do? What do you do in
Yeah.
life?
I feel like once money's not a problem, like seriously not a problem, billions of dollars, it moves to power. Like there's something about like
Oh, yeah.
just
You don't like something, you don't like someone, you just pay to get rid of it, or
yeah, it's like
to
you want to
do it.
control people after that. Like humans are your currency. It's weird.
Yeah.
Just look at China, right?
no, that's for
It's-
sure.
Definitely.
It's something
think-
different.
Money obviously has a bigger value than just money. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunate as it is, we live in a generation, people, I read this the other day actually, and it was actually like, I love it when I see posts like this, because it's like you read it and you're like, holy shit, that's really society
It
right
just
now.
opens your eyes.
It was like, I seen people respect someone's pockets more than their character in this generation. And that was insane reading it, because it was like,
Oh, it's true.
for example, say you got $10 million, but Kyron got $100 million. And Kyron's the biggest dick known on the planet. But you're like one of the most down to earth people. You're going to have me in the situation and be like, yeah, I love Kyron. Fuck you. Because you only have 10 mil and he has 100 mil. You know what I mean?
You can go in my yard, it's bigger.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like you'll have him talking about his yacht being bigger, but he's a bigger dick in this situation.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like that's how society is. It's crazy.
Man.
How do you tell? Like, how would you tell if you had all the money in the world?
They look like Adam
You know,
Sandler.
if you have a lot, if you have a lot of money, you know you're gonna have a crowd, right?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you weed them out? Right?
Yeah,
It's
and
hard, right?
That's definitely the hardest
hard.
part for
Like-
sure. Like,
Like we all been saying, you know, you could definitely tell it's lonely at the top, because maybe that's why they're a dick, because they've just had the wrong people around them all the time. You don't know why people are the way they are. You know, some people come up in same upbringings, and one person's just rude because, you know, they had a tough time growing up, and the other person took the tough time as, you know what, I hope people don't go through this. Let me make sure, like, the people I care around me are good, you know? Like, obviously, you got to be careful, like we're talking about right now, but you got to make sure, you know, that the people you're around are good too, not just you, because you never know what people go through. So you got to just kind of be there for them, be like, hey, you know, you're going through a tough time, I got you because you have me, or like I know you're the type of person to have me if I'm down, you know, and just keep elevating, you know, your crew around you, your people, family, friends, all that.
I guess that's definitely one way to tell is the people who were there before when you had nothing.
For sure.
So
But I feel, yeah, definitely if you have money around you, I feel like it'd definitely be a tough time because everyone wants to hang out with you. They all want to be at your house, your yacht, whatever the hell it is. Whereas the person who doesn't have all that lives in an apartment. Who wants to go sit in an apartment all day when you can go sit on a nice balcony with like an ocean view or lake view somewhere, you know, go chill out on a jet ski. So definitely got to be careful once you get to that point. I feel like
I feel
a
like
lot of people just don't know how to do that.
Nah, I think the thing is when you got a lot of money, at the end of the day you're gonna have trust issues. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna know what someone truly is coming around you for. Like perfect example, like you're big in whatever industry you're big in. Any female is gonna want to be around you because they know you're a public figure. Like they don't truly want to be with you for your inner character. They want to be with you because it's your success, your money, your fame. And that's the crazy thing because I feel like a lot of people are so quick to not be the push that you need in your city, but once you're being pushed in other cities, they want to be the push. You know what I mean? Like it's like I saw a post the other day. It said, "Don't support me once I blow up. Support me so I blow up." It's like we got all types of people, like clothing designers, artists, videographers, photographers, football coaches. Like we got everything. You got all types of categories, but the thing is, people don't want to be like a stepping stool. You know what I mean? Like, perfect example, Atlanta with the music scene. You have someone every day becoming somebody in the world or signing a major record deal because everyone has their hand out for each other. It's not, I'm gonna block you out because I want to do better than you. A lot of them, perfect example, like Young Thug. He has his whole record label, and he truly appreciates every artist for who they are before being an artist. And that's why they're all soon to be global, because he said, let me take you guys with me because I want to see you guys do good in the music with me, not against me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the thing with Boston, even aside from music, clothing designs. You got a lot of people making clothes, but no one wants to, for example, say, let's collab on this piece and let's bring the best of both worlds. Nah, let's just go world versus world. That's how it is. I feel like it's too much competition and not enough assistance.
So do you think that's all over the place? Like, you know, you said like Atlanta, that's more southern. Do you think like in the southern states or like the southern part of the world is more friendly than up in the northern or like the colder areas?
For sure. I think because look at like even New York, you got someone popping left and right because everyone in New York knows what type of timing they're on and they want to see each other doing well in that type of timing. I think like Mass specifically is a big like hatred state. You know what I mean? Like not anyone wants to see. Why you think we got nobody big? Like we got Joyner Lucas, we got Coi Leray, we got like 3 big artists out of Boston. But we don't have like a roster like other states do because it's so hard to blow up out of Mass because of the fact no one wants to see you blow up. But then they want to claim when you do move on with your life and you elevate in life, they want to be the reason why you elevated.
You guys think that will ever change though?
I would think it would be the opposite because it's not, but like you would think because Boston is such a smaller city, right? People would be closer, more connected.
That's what I mean.
Than New York City. We're talking literally 10 times the amount of people, 8 million to like 800,000. And I don't know, that's unfortunate. That's not the first time I've heard that too. And that goes back to what we were talking about before. Who you know, right? Like nobody really cares like, oh, I'm going to hit up Kyron because he knows these 5 people and I need those 5 people to move on with my career. And I could like you or not, but I'm still going to pretend like people like that are, I don't know.
It's weird.
There's some type of way. Yeah.
It's weird energy. I feel that.
I feel like truly it's just a lot of envy in whatever you do. Like even, for example, like I ain't gonna say no names, but I had a camp around me at one point and it was like, I could feel it in the room. Like if I go to the studio alone, I'll be able to make one of my best songs. But if I go with certain camp, it was like, I felt like insecure about my music. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not even on like no hate shit. It's just like more of the standing fact. Like I could feel that energy.
Like they weren't supportive. They were kind of just there to see what you do.
Exactly. And it was more of, I feel like it was a sit back and let me absorb all I can see what he's doing so I could try later down the line to try it against him. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what people do just with anything. Like, perfect example, like Kyron. Say he wants to go be a coach at BC, Boston College. I know for sure not Boston College in specific, but for example, that staff, they're well aware of who he is. Just due to the fact he's traveling to all these locations, picking up all these good athletes. Mm. But that's the thing, they're not going to want him to coach there because he did what he did. They're not going to congratulate him on chasing what he really wanted to chase. They're just going to be like more of a, nah, you don't deserve that, even though in all reality, Kyron does deserve that. You know what I mean? And that's the sad thing. It's like, everyone wanna be under the spotlight, but they don't want to work for that spotlight position. And it's like, yet again, that whole team topic comes back. It's like, you ain't gonna do it without a team. Like, you really gotta have someone. You gotta have a person playing each role. Not everyone could be the quarterback. You know what I mean? Mm. Like, you're gonna have your receivers, you're gonna have your linemen, and that's why football teams work the way they do, because everyone's playing their role. You can't get through the line because you got a line right there. Mm-hmm. He's going to catch the ball because you got the quarterback throwing the ball to him. It's all planned out. It's blueprint no matter what. It's not just, oh, I'm going to just walk in here and we're going to do what we do. Like, no, you're going to have your plays. You're going to follow those plays and they're going to go through because you're following them and you're each playing your role at the end of the day. And I feel like that's what society needs to focus on. I feel like more getting together and bringing it up than being separated and pushing down. And I think soon, I hope to God, I think Boston's going to have a music scene, especially because I think a lot of people are going to put the shit aside and realize we got to put on for our city at the end of the day. I think they're going to, a lot of people, like, for example, like me, like with music, I want to make sure society's well aware that there's talented artists in Boston. I don't want to blow up and leave, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, when I do go up, I'm going to make sure I take care of myself and I'm going to relocate if I have to, but I'm forever going to embrace Boston because that's where I originally came from. It's like, it's not like I'm going to just get up and go how the select few of artists from Boston did. And that's why Boston don't got a music scene. Because if the select few artists that blew just constantly, consistently always brought up Boston into topic, Boston would be something big right now.
But, like, I feel like what you're saying, too, is, like, we got decently good artists out here. Like, 7981 Cal, we got D the Flyest, G Fredo, we got, who else is there? You know, we got a decent amount of artists out here that are blown up in the underground, but like if you go to other states like you said, or even people within Boston, they're like, oh, I've never heard of D the Flyest. It's like, dude, this guy's on YouTube, he has like a million views or something. Yeah, like, and they're like, I don't know who that is. And it's like you try to put them on, they're like, oh, I don't want to listen to that. But they'll listen to the Atlanta artists, they'll listen to the Florida artists, they'll listen to, you know, Detroit artists. But it's like, dude, these people in your backyard, like, they're throwing concerts left and right in, you know, decently big clubs around here. And it's like, you don't even want to show them love. It's like, dude, they're from your area and they're not bad. It's like, you're just hating because it's not you or your friend or whatever. Mm. But it's like, if that person blows, they could start a label. And then now all of a sudden you got a bunch of local artists blowing up just like everyone else was doing, you know? Like,
it's all like I look at it as like a family tree, you know what I mean? And it's not even like you got to be blood for it. It's just like you got your root where it starts, and then it's just going to branch out no matter what, as long as you play your cards right. And I feel like you said, we got 7981 Cal, and by play your cards right, he's one of the perfect examples right now. Like, he was moving up in life, but he couldn't leave his past life behind. And that's what held him back. And now he's in the situation he's in is because he didn't leave that past life. And I feel like that's what a lot of people tend to do. Like, I feel like they'll get themselves in a good position and just not care because they're in that good position already, not realizing there's still more to life. Like, you didn't reach the top tier. Like, you could still keep going. And I think, like, even with sports, like, perfect example, like, rest in peace to Terrence Clark, basketball player from Boston. You got to look at it like this. You were a week away from being in the NBA draft, but you were driving 120 miles per hour and got into a car accident. You know what I mean? Like,
It's horrible.
Like, how are you... And that's not even out of disrespect. It's more of, like, the fact of, like, why would you put yourself in that position? You know what I mean? Like, you got 7 days till you make it to the goal you've been working for.
Your whole
To go
life
to
up to that point.
You're right there, 7 days away. You're in LA, getting ready for this draft. But
I can imagine. Just because, like, all the camps he probably went to, all the time he spent, you know, working and stuff instead of going out with friends, having fun, partying, whatever, like most colleges kids do. He, you know, he probably was in the gym working with his trainers, you know, going to bed early because you got to go travel for this game, that game, on the road, all that, you know. And it's just like you said, you give up that for those few seconds of fun, but, like, how much fun is that? Because you're not here no more, so... It's definitely, I feel like there's definitely a lot of stories like that happen, and, you know, it's definitely tragic, but, you know, I feel like people just gotta think smarter before they do things, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know, it probably was pretty fun to, unfortunately, go 120 miles an hour on the highway.
Sure.
But, like, I'm sure he wasn't thinking in the beginning, like, oh, I'm going to die. Wait, I don't know how he crashed, but maybe something was in the road or just lost control. You know, he's probably just thinking, I'm going to go 120 just to tell my buddies later, right?
Yeah,
guess what I just did? I just hit 120 on the highway.
Unfortunately, you just never know when you're going to go. Like, it's definitely a thought I feel like people don't want to think about, but, like, you know, eventually you do die. Like, you're not here no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's it. It's the end of the road. You know, everything you've been working for in life, all the things you've been through, it doesn't matter no more because you're gone.
But it's weird, right? Like, people naturally want to, I don't know, that's what roller coasters are, right? It's a sense of, like, feeling that you're literally going to die, right? Your body is telling you, like, when you drop down that fast, like, that's your body saying, dude, you're in danger, you're going to die. But there's some type of rush. I don't know what that is when you don't die, right?
It's like a aftershock. That's how I look at it. It's like you get the adrenaline, like when you're in line, but then, like, think of it like this: when you get close to, like, when you're about to hop on this, the adrenaline is just gone.
I'm just like, nah, bro, why am I doing this?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, 'cause me personally, I ain't doing that shit. I admit it in here. Like, I ain't doing no roller coasters. So if you ever see me in public, don't ask me to go on a roller coaster because the answer gonna be no. But I think it's cool. But at the same time, I ain't risking my life. I done watch Final Destination too many times for me to get on that shit. Like, you gonna have to pay me to do it at that point, because it's like, like how you said, like, that whole feeling, like, your body can sense it. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I can even say a perfect example. Yesterday, I was at work. I work at a decently high-end store, and I had some kid walk in. I greet him, and I literally get this gut feeling. He doesn't say anything to me. So I see he goes and grabs this expensive, like, piece of clothing, and he brings it to another rack. So now I'm like, I felt like Spider-Man. I got the Spidey senses going off. I'm like, okay, it's going down. Like, I gotta watch this kid. And then his boy comes in. I see he's looking at another piece. So then he moves the other piece to where the other one was. So I'm just sitting here. And mind you, I'm working alone. So I'm like, all right, what do I do? Like, these pieces are expensive. Like, they were hoodies and they were each $800. Like, it ain't nothing cheap.
Shit.
So I'm thinking, boom, now that it's a Saturday, the store gets packed. And I'm like, fuck, like, this is where they're going to take their opportunity now that there's so many people in here. But I'm still watching. And it's like, I turned around and my stomach just, like, stopped that weird feeling. And then when I turned around, they were gone. Now, the pieces were still there, but the kids were gone. So it was like, I felt it like they were planning to do something. and then I felt it when it was over with. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, you have like this sixth sense. As crazy as that sounds, like everyone has it. You know what I mean? You can tell when
You
something's
sense when something's not right.
yeah, like just by I didn't even look at him. Like, I felt it when he walked in the store, and then I looked up, and I was like, "Oh, that was weird." And the craziest thing was, I had a other customer in the store after they left, and she goes to me and she was like, "I was getting weird vibes from him," and I go, "Me too." Like, he was being weird, right? And she was like, "Yeah, I thought he was gonna steal what he was holding." I'm telling you, like, this was crazy too. We got no security at our store either, so it's like, if y'all ever see this, get fucking security, cause like, I ain't putting up with this shit. Cause it's like, it's crazy. It's like, to even think, like, that sense kicks in. It's like, your body feels more like natural causes than you can imagine. You know what I mean? Like, perfect example, like, not saying if you're about to get in a car accident, you can feel it. But if you can sense, like, something's off, like, say, even, like, routine-wise, like, if you do your routines on the daily, but the one day you don't do your routines right, you could tell your day's gonna go in a weird path. You know what I mean? It's just, like, your body's so used to certain shit.
Nah.
What do you think that is? Like, so you said you just saw these guys, right? Instant, we call it a gut feeling. But, I mean, some people would say, I don't know, is there some type of energy in the air?
It's like an aurora.
Or would it be like more of a scientific thing? Your brain, maybe noticed a look on his face for less than a second, and your conscious mind
just
didn't
clicked.
understand, but your subconscious was like, I've seen that look before. So
I don't know. That's like crazy. I feel like it's like you get into the energy talk now. It's like aurora and all that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know too deep into it, but like, I forgot what movie I was watching. I was a little kid, but I remember in this movie, like, they got mad and like the what was that called? I think it was like, the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
I remember the Northern Lights like changed colors in the movie, like when he got mad, and then they were like, your aura is like this and that. And I think shit like that is really true. You know what I mean? Like, for example, say Kyron comes to my house and he's having a rough day. I'ma feel it before he says anything.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, or if I hopped in his car and I'm like aggravated about something, he's gonna look at me and he's gonna be like, "What's up?" Like, I know something's wrong with
What's
you.
wrong with you?
Like right when you get in,
right when
there's not
you
even
could
enough
just
time.
feel it. Like, it's like a magnetic.
I feel like it's a mix though of both of what you guys are saying, cause like you're saying, like, you could just feel it sometimes while looking at people, but I feel like it has a lot to do with like their body movements. You know, how is their posture, stuff like that? Are they like slouching, like, damn? it's
Yeah,
a
like
rough day,
maybe he
are
got in
they
the
like,
car
yeah,
and his shoulders were, I don't know, like just a little bit forward.
hanging, his head's
yeah.
down. He, like you said, he has a mopey face on. Stuff like that. You don't even got to speak the words because you're already just reading his body language. So you're just like, hey, I know something's up. But like you said, I feel like it's the other way because some people could just have that blank look, kind of like a bitch face, but not. They're just sitting there like, hey, just quiet, staring off into space, whatever. But you could tell something's up or like they're thinking about something. And I feel like that's where it comes at, like, energy, like, that you just feel like the aurora, like you're saying, around them, where it's just like, hey, something's off. Like, what's going on? Like you said, he moved one thing to another, but he was kind of doing it, like, sneakily. So it's like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong with this person? And that's where you got to be like, you're going to act on it or you're going to sit there and just watch it play out. I feel like there's a lot of things mentally that just flow through your head that you're just like, hey, I feel that they're not on the same, like, level I'm on, because you could be in a good mood and they could be in a bad mood, or they could be trying to do some sneaky stuff to you. And it's just like, you're going to catch on to it, especially if you've been through stuff before or seen stuff before, whether it be a movie, in real life,
Right.
happen to someone so like someone else, you're just sitting in public and see it. I feel like there's a lot of that just plays in, and it's just like, hey, like, something's not right here, because I feel like you hear about that so much.
I wonder when we'll figure it out. Like, Like,
stuff
is
like
is
that.
there like just are you surrounded by some type of energy or something? I don't know.
The way I look at it is like back to earlier what I was talking about with that like out of body experience and stuff like that. That's what they were more doing is like I feel like there's a lot you could learn through meditation and stuff. I'm not a person who does meditation and stuff like that, but you know, I know a decent amount of people who do stuff like that or like do yoga and stuff like that, which is a form of it. And they're just how they feel better, how they like connect with themselves and stuff they want to do in life and stuff like that, or you know, they find the answers they're looking for because they're just in deep thought. That's pretty much what it is. It's a deep thought, and you're just like connecting with yourself or whatever's around you, and that's where you just like build off of that, or you know,
Yeah.
form your energy.
But even meditation, like that literally changes how your brain behaves. It increases the amount of gray matter in your brain, which makes you overall a more peaceful person, and you can concentrate more easily, things like that. So I don't know why, but it's like, what else are we doing in our lives every day that affects us more than we think, right? Because people before, they would just meditate and be like, oh, I kind of feel good, right?
Yeah.
After a while, they've been meditating for a couple months off and on.
Well, now that's like a big topic is people want to meditate for manifestation and stuff like that. And that's
For things they want.
That's, you know, exactly. And I feel like that's a huge factor because you just like, you know, you're factoring in all the stuff that you want to do in life and stuff like that. And, you know, if you think about it, you plan it out enough, stuff like that, it's probably going to happen, you know? Obviously, not every path is easy, but you're going to sit there and be like, damn, like, you know, I want to do this. What do I got to do to get there? And that's where you go into that deep thought of, hey, what do I have to do to get there? Where am I at in all reality? You know, how do I want my life to plan out? Like we said in the video before, you know, some people have that 5-year plan and it's just like, you got to do all these steps to get there. It's not just happening overnight, you know. You need money. You need, you know, people around you to help out and stuff like that, you know, connections, things like that, where it's just like, hey, you know, like, we should probably meet this person because they own a lumber yard and, you know, I'm a carpenter. You know, stuff like that. You know that person and, you know, you do business with them for a while. You might get a deal out of it because you're a loyal customer. I know a lot of people do stuff like that. They're like, hey, you know, you don't have the extra, like, $20? No big deal, you know, just get it next
For
time
sure.
or forget about it. You bring me a lot of business.
Yeah. I think people underestimate, like, the saying, like, what goes around comes around. I don't know what it is. I'm not like a superstitious person or whatever, but I don't know. If you act a certain way, you're gonna put yourself in some type of situation where you're gonna get what's coming, and I don't know why does that happen in the first place? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, you know? Why can't someone just behave like so horribly their entire lives? And maybe that does happen sometimes and we just don't want to believe it. Like, someone is just a horrible person. And like you were talking about Hitler before, the guy just up and kills himself before there's any consequences. But, you know, even people in his staff were trying to kill him. Like before, like he had assassination attempts before that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's because of the way he behaved in the first place.
Yeah.
But
I think it's more of definitely the behavior, but I think it was more of the way they looked at his intentions. You know what I mean? Because they knew what Hitler's like real plan was with everything. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I do, but I know for a fact that was definitely the route it was going in. Because how you said, what goes around comes around. He ended up killing himself because he knew he couldn't take the heat when he put him, even though he put himself in that kitchen. You know what I mean? And it's like a boomerang. That's how energy works. It's like the energy you give out is gonna come back to you. So say you're the nicest person on the planet, people are gonna, not everybody, but a lot of people are gonna tend to approach you on a nice manner, appreciate you as a human being because that's the type of person you are. You're not, for example, like Hitler. Like, people would fucking hate Hitler. If you met Hitler, you'd wouldn't meet them on a nice approach. It'd be more of a, why were you such a shitty person? Not why were you like, let me think, I'm trying to think of someone good. I'm not really into the politics, so I'm not going to be like, Obama.
Yeah.
But
No, I definitely get what you're
I
saying.
feel like, though, sometimes when people put out stuff, it doesn't come back to them. Because, like, I know, like, no names, but I know a couple people who are just, like, not the greatest people in the world. Mm-hmm. So it's just, like, when they do things, I'm like, they're again, and they're getting away with it. Like, how
But are they? Like, how do you know?
You're right in that aspect, you know? It might come back and bite them later, but as of right now, like, you know, they've done a bunch of terrible things to people, and it's just like no one's done anything yet. Not to me personally, so that's why, like, I don't really mind or don't care, just avoid the people. But, you know, it's just like, how do you do that stuff and you're okay with it? You know?
Yeah.
Like, as a football coach and run my own organization, I see that stuff happen all the time. Like, people taking advantage of the kids. They'll sit here and feed them all these lies and stuff like that. And then, you know, they'll go to the parents and then they'll be like, yeah, I really want to play for this team, whatever. And they just, like, take the money and, like, run off with it. Not like the kids don't get the playing time or stuff, but they'll be overcharged for stuff that they shouldn't do. And they're like, they'll have the quote-unquote non-profit organization, but they're definitely profiting off it, you know? Like, how does someone do so much fundraising and stuff like that and have nothing really to show for it? Whereas people like me, I really don't do a lot of fundraising at the moment. So it's just like, I'm still able to do the stuff I got to do. Obviously, it comes out of my kids' pockets more and the families, but you know, I'm able to give them receipts or show them where the money's actually going. As of these other people, they're like, oh, it goes towards this and that. And it's like, they'll be, for example, they'll be like, oh, it goes to equipment. All right, you just fundraise a bunch of money for equipment, but you're still using the same equipment from 2-3 years ago. So it's like,
where'd it go?
Where'd that equipment money go, you know? So there's just stuff like that. Or like, you know, people who run the big tournaments or leagues and stuff, they'll be like, you know, $500 a team or up to like $1,500 a team. All right, I'm paying $1,200 for something locally. That's not like, you know, we still got to find our own fields. We still got to, you know, do all that back end stuff that they were promised they were going to do. And it's just like, so why did I pay you these fees and so expensive if nothing's done? I get the league entry, but you guys are having us pay for everything and then just pocketing that entry fee. So it's like...
And just disappears.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, you got to just be careful, I feel like, with a lot of stuff like that.
And then you notice Jimbo over here has got a new watch or,
yeah, exactly.
or something crazy, you know.
He's got like a brand new Rolex that just came out, you know, like all gold and stuff. Shit. And you're just like, was it really worth it, you know? Because now you have all these people noticing, and, you know, like you guys say, what goes around comes around. It's just like...
Yeah. I'm definitely curious, like, do you guys think does it? Or do we just hear about when it does?
I feel like you just hear about when it does, but the amount of good stuff or bad stuff they do could not. Because, you know, like, they gave a bad example. Like, we'll use a good example. Like, you know, people donate to charity and all that stuff like that. But then they go through a scandal where their business is going under or whatever, stuff like that. All those people that they donated to or helped out, everyone else is like, oh, you did that? Oh, that's your fault. That's on you. Like, I'm not going to help you. But they're a good person. Like, they deserve that help. They deserve, you know, that extra hand held out. So I feel like, and then obviously, usually stuff is good. Like, people have GoFundMes and stuff like that now. But not all the time that stuff works. So it's like you could be this person that has a nice business, all that stuff, and they're doing good, and then all of a sudden, like, a hurricane hits, knocks out your whole warehouse. And it's just like, you're screwed. You just lost thousands of dollars of products that you were selling, you know? Yeah. Now you can't supply the demand, so you're just sitting there like a duck in the water with no help, you know? Definitely, I feel like it makes people double think who they help.
For sure. It's like it's like coming out of the mud. It's like you're going to have the people coming with you, but who really wanted you to get out that position? You know what I mean? It's like, because the one major key I feel like going up in life is you don't want yes men around you. You want someone that's really there for your best interest, like that wants the best for you. Not just gonna be like, yeah, that's fine. Like, yeah, you don't gotta do nothing with that. You know what I mean? It's like, say I'm with Kyron and he has his football organization. I see he goes out and he grabs, let's say, Felipe and Zandre, 2 wide receivers. They're good, but me knowing his skill level for that football team, and they're not on that tier, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be like, yo, like, you need to work with that. Like, you either gotta get him good in practice, like get him really up and going, get the gears moving, or you gotta get better receivers. Like, I'm not just gonna let him go by with it. Like, I want him to have a dream team, for example. You know what I mean? I want him to be very satisfied with what he's doing, because at the end of the day, I want to see him become the person he wants to be. I don't want to see him not become the person he wants to be, because what does that make me? That makes me fail as a friend, you know what I mean? Like, people, I think, tend to lack on that ability. I think people need to be more on the end of pushy yet again, instead of pulling down.
Yeah, it's not hating. That's like healthy criticism is what you're talking about.
And I think people need to learn how to take healthy criticism. See, like me being an artist, I've been making music for about 3-4 years now. And perfect example, like, rest in peace to my best friend that passed away. But I remember the first times I started recording, he told me, oh, this and that needs to sound a little better. And I can't lie, like, I remember I was a knucklehead with it. I was just like, what do you mean? Da-da-da-da-da. But the more I developed into the music, I realized what he was always trying to tell me. And that's why I appreciate it so much to this day. It's like, no matter what, I took it the wrong way, but you were sending it in a good way. It wasn't more of a, you're doing it wrong. It was, I wanted to see you do it better. And I feel like that's the thing. Like, constructive criticism is a key in any field you jump in. YouTube, gaming, like, people are always going to tell you you're not doing something right. There's going to be people that tell you you're not doing something right because they don't support you in what you do. But then there's going to be the ones that do support you in what you do because they want to see you do it the right way. That's how I look at it.
Definitely. It's like, I'm about to get deep here for a sec.
Go crazy.
Dude, where does that come from, right? So what you're talking about is having a thought, right? And acting out that thought. And some people are going to have thoughts that are just out of hatred, right? They just want to see your team lose all the time, but they won't tell you that. And there's other people who are going to say, dude, like, healthy constructive criticism. What I'm asking, like, what do you guys think? Where do thoughts even come from, right? Like, how does that initial thought come into someone's head and then you act on it and make it a reality, right?
Yeah, I think, like you say, it just comes from something you see, something you like, or, you know, like you're saying, you just have generally someone's best interest in it. And, you know, you see someone working so hard, pushing himself every day to get there. And it's like, hey, you know, like, I see you're working really hard, but you might be missing this. Like, this is that key that you're missing to push you to that next step. You know, like, in life, everything's a step. You know, you got to take steps to get somewhere. You know, even just literally walking or literally just starting a business, whatever.
But, like, where does that come from, right? Like, what made Steve Jobs just think, like, I want to make the best. At first, I think it was computers in the world.
I think it's just like what every business person says. It's supply and demand. Like, you know, you're sitting here, you're hearing all day someone complain, oh, I really wish I had something that did this. I had something that did that. And that person's just like, you know what? I'm going to come up with a way to solve that issue. Especially if you're hearing it all the time or every day. You're like, you know what? I'm tired of hearing this person complain. let me just build this thing for them, and they can go on their way, and life will be made easier. I mean, look at the invention. How do you think, like, cavemen or whoever invented the wheel was just like, you know what? I'm going to make this thing into a circle. Like, how they even think of a circle? You know what I mean? They were just sitting all day, and they're like, let's make life easier. And I feel like that's just a key, you know? And with some people who are dark, you know, it's how do we make life harder for this person, you know? Though, especially in fields you have competition and stuff, there's always people trying to do little clips of them just, you know, dissing the other person, whatever. Then they'll put it together, and boom, they got a new, you know, just a way to ruin their company is the best way to put it. Whether it be an ad or whatever it is, and just, it's crazy. But
yeah, that is crazy. But like where does that come from? I don't know. Does it come from God? You know what I mean? Like where do the thoughts come from in the like we could talk about the energy and you saw a look on somebody's face, but
how
did this all start?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I feel like that's so like deep. You know what I mean? It's like not even a thought.
It's not even that. I feel like there's just no real information on it yet, you know? I feel like at that point, you got to do more like dissecting of the mind and stuff and that connection. But like a lot of people say, you know, you might have to wait till you die to get that connection or whatever, figure it all out. But maybe in our lifetime, they'll have that figured out prior. We never know. But I feel like that's definitely something that we just don't know yet. You know, it's just something that we're just going to have to sit here and think like, damn, like where do thoughts come from? Obviously, it's our brain. But
yeah, I meant,
how does it do that? Yeah. So I feel like that's definitely something we'd have to ask a scientist or something. I mean, obviously people are spiritual or religious, so they're like, comes from God, stuff like that. But it could not even be that, you know? It could just be something that has to do with what we call energy and stuff like that. It's just, you know, we have all these molecules and stuff like that everything, the matter, atoms, all that, you know, I feel like it could just be one atom moving to the next, to the next, to the next, and then it just, you know, it sends that signal and just expands, and next thing you know, we're sitting there and we're just thinking about, you know what, let's do that. 'Cause it's just so thought of. But
it's crazy. Yeah, I guess my mind just can't
comprehend
something like that.
Like, I don't even know.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, I seen this interview. It was with A Boogie. He was like, sometimes you gotta just think of things the way you don't want to think about them. You remember that? That thing I told you about?
Yeah. It's
so fucked. It's mind fucking. That's how fucked up it is. Like, that literally made no sense what I repeated, but that's how mind fucking it is.
The thing is, if you think about it for a little bit, it makes sense because...
What was it again?
Well, the saying?
Yeah.
He says, sometimes you got to think about things the way you don't want to think about them.
As in, like, you got to look at it from a different perspective, different view. And I feel like that's a lot with life because, you know, I feel like you got to have those different views of where people are coming from, you know, what they're trying to accomplish, stuff like that. And that's where you'll understand it a lot better. And then thinking about it, how, you know, like, just think of it, how you thought of when you were 4-year-old to now. You had to be taught different ways to look at things, different lessons in life. You have to go through stuff, if it's the easy way or hard way, you know? Like, you know, every day, like, someone could be, like, when you're younger, you don't really know about drugs or anything like that. You know, you're walking on the street, you're like, oh, this person's acting funny, whatever. And they're like, oh, no, they're on this or they're on that. And it's just like, oh, okay. You know, you don't know about panhandling and stuff like that. And then you see it and you're just like, hey, what's that? You know?
Yeah.
And your friend or family member, whoever is like, oh, well, you know, that person's panhandling.
It's like, what
and
is
just
that?
like, what the hell?
I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what that is. And
That's those people that are on the side of the road that ask for money to go buy drugs or food or whatever.
It's
the
like,
homeless.
it's the act of asking for money.
It's panhandling.
Yeah, that's just crazy because if you're watching this, the dude that sits on the little connector, fuck you. I gave him $10 one day and As soon as I turned at the light, I seen him pull out his phone. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, why'd I just give you $10 if you have a whole iPhone? Mind you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're truly in need, that's different. I felt like an outgoing person, so I gave him the $10. But like, I feel like that was God slapping me in the face. He was like, you just gave $10 to the wrong person.
It's a quick lesson right there.
You know what I mean? It was like, what were you doing? And it was just like, I felt bad, but like, that's why I'm gonna be honest. I don't do that shit no more. Cause it's like a lot of them literally sit there and they'll break in a lot of money daily doing that. And it's crazy because the amount of hours you spend sitting at a traffic light, you could go be working a shift. Why aren't you working a shift instead of just earning money? You know what I mean?
There's a Dunkin' Donuts right down the street.
Exactly. Like, and the Dunkin's, it's not even like Dunkin's doesn't pay bad. I'm pretty sure Dunkin's pays like $14 an hour now. Like, that's crazy. To work at a fast food restaurant and get $14 an hour, you could physically get back on your feet over time working that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but just like at the beginning of the video, some people just don't have that drive.
That's true.
Yeah, why do it when I can just get money for free?
That's like people sitting there going home every day and watching TV, and then they're like, damn, I don't have that extra money that Jimmy has, and, he's going to work at a bar till like 10 o'clock at night, It's just, 5 to 10, quick 5 hours. That's why he has extra money to go on his vacation at the end of the month. Versus the person who sat there and watched Lucifer for, 6 hours after work.
You know what's one of my favorite sayings? It was the Lamborghini saying. They said, someone had asked, I don't know if they asked them, but I know they were involved, and they were like, why is there Lamborghini commercials? And they turned around and you know what they said?
What?
We don't make Lamborghinis for people who watch TV. That shit hit.
Damn.
Like, hearing that hit, it's like, because it's so true. It's like, you don't see any of these expensive cars on TV. And it makes sense. Like, even like, you'll see an Audi commercial, but like, you won't see an Audi R8 commercial. You know what I mean? You won't see a Maybach for Mercedes commercial, because all those cars, you gotta work your ass off for them, so you're not gonna be sitting there watching TV. So when I saw that Lamborghini quote, I was like, damn, like that one, like that was one of those things you heard and it just like stuck with you, because it's like, I can't lie, I want a Lamborghini. That's one of my dream cars.
Yeah,
I'm gonna work my ass off for that car if I really want it that bad. I'm not gonna just sit around and being like in Aladdin waiting for the genie to come out the glass and like be like, yeah, I want my Lamborghini in my front yard today.
Well, that's why, like, I just stopped, like, cable, like, watching TV, stuff TV. Like that, because it's, like, all that extra stuff you want to do and stuff's not going to get done if, you're like, you know what, I'm paying almost $100, so, a month for cable. Like, I'm going to have to watch that. Just like a gym membership, you're not going to go to a fancy gym and not go. You got to go. You got to do your workouts. You got to get it in.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, like, with those type of cars and stuff like that, you're going to be outside. You're going to be at the car meets or even on vacation, You're going to be out and about instead of sitting around watching TV. And you're like, wow, where'd you get that? What type of car is that? And they're like, it's a Lamborghini. I got it at this dealership, on the other side of town.
Yeah.
And, if you don't get out, you're not going to see stuff like that. You're not going to know about it. Just like, a lot of people, they work like 2-3 jobs. And it's just like, hey, how are you all out all the time? Why are you always traveling, doing stuff like that? It's like, well, I'm more busting my ass over here. So, I'm going to build up, the people I know, my connections, my money and all that stuff. And then later in life, boom, they got their own companies, their own, land that they own or apartment buildings, whatever, and it's just like, hey, we just build up from here. And, the person who's sitting on their ass is like, damn, I'm 30, 40 with nothing to show for. And it's just like, you got to start doing stuff. You got to do what you like, your interests. You got to go out, meet new people, start doing new things. You never know what you like. You could do something that you like now, but later you could find something that you love. So it's like you're not even working.
Yeah, like it may turn into something, is what you're saying. Like, people are always going to, we've talked about it before, criticize what you do in a bad way. And, you know, maybe what you did at first doesn't work, right? Like, maybe we do a podcast and we eventually stop doing it, right? But going out there and actually starting the podcast may lead to that next thing. And that next thing might take off. So
exactly,
the worst case scenario is, right, you have fun doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. I feel like in life you gotta enjoy it. A lot of people are out here, they're miserable. Like we've said before, they watch, especially in mass, they're watching other people, what they're doing, trying to tear them down and stuff like that because they're not happy with their, like, not knowing that, hey, while you're envying this person and stuff like that, why don't you ask them to help you out? Why don't you join it? Why don't you do it like we've been saying? You know, you just got to go out there. You got to do what you want to do or what makes you happy. And, you know, that's just like what I feel like life is about. You just got to be happy. You got to go do what you want to do. You can't sit around and be miserable, moping, watching TV, sleeping all the time. Because later in life, or even next week, you're going to be like, damn, I didn't get what I needed to get done. Or I didn't do the steps I got to do. And yeah, you just wasted X amount of hours doing who knows what when you could have been doing something productive to get to where you need to be. Make yourself happier, do what you want to do, you know? And I feel like that's a lot of people's issue is they're like, they have that doubt in them. I can't do this, I can't do that. But if history has shown anything, you could do anything you want to do. You just have the willpower to do it. You have to have the right people around you. You know, and then just build off it.
I feel like you just gotta really put your head in the game. Like as that saying is, it's like if you're in the bleachers, you ain't gonna be dunking on the court. You know what I mean? And it's like for like me, like with my craft, for example, like I have moments like right now. I haven't been to the studio in probably like a week, maybe 2. But then I have my moments when I'm locked in for a week. Maybe 2 straight every day, just 7 hours a day. Like, it's not like I'll just go once, twice a year. Because if I'm doing that, if I'm going once, twice a year, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm doing what other artists actually do. You know what I mean? Because that's when it gets into the envy fact. Like, an artist is gonna look at you upset with you because if say you go on the internet and you're like, oh, I haven't dropped a song in maybe 1 or 2 years. I'm going to show you guys why. But in all reality, you know, that song, you just made it. You didn't work on the song for 1 or 2 years. Artists, like, for example, like if I seen that, I'm going to be upset with it because I'm the type of artist, I have multiple records. And I sit down and I really get into the music because that's genuinely what I want to do. And it's pure happiness for me. It's my escape from the world, you know what I mean? It's like, and I feel like a lot of people tend to fail to even know that when it comes to music because a lot of people would rather just say they do it than actually feel happy that they do it. And that's even with other things too, like high school, perfect example. People gonna play football just to say, oh, I'm on varsity. I play football. I wear a Letterman jacket, you know what I mean? And then you have the kids that play football because they want to go to the NFL. Like, they truly love the sport of football. It's not just to say that. And I feel like when you got that kid that's, say, the backup running back that's truly better and has a better even, like, approach as a player than the starting running back, he doesn't get the credit he deserves because you got the starting running back that's stuck up. You got all that bad energy. So he sits in his shadow. That makes him just throw his career away because he felt like he wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what just goes on in the world a lot. Like, you don't see a lot of people trying to make music because people are too scared to say, oh, I make music. I like making music. Because people are going to look at you like, you make music, you know what I mean? But, like, I think that's what needs to be changed. Like, I think people need to truly do what they admire truly in their heart, not what people want them to do. And that's why till this day, I still make music. Because I've been making music since I was in high school. And I've been told numerous times, why do you do that? Because that's what I do. You know what I mean? It's not I'm not going to do what you want me to do with my life. I'm going to do what I want to do with my life at the end of the day. And that's what gets people mad, because it's like they see you're still striving for your greatness. You're trying to achieve your goals, and people just sit on the sideline with too many opinions about it. And I think that's like the biggest key about any industry.
I feel that though. Because as being a young person who like is running their own organization, I'm not even 25 yet coaching. I've been coaching since I was 17. A lot of the older coaches, they won't show me respect. They won't act like they care what I'm truly here for. They're like, this youngster, he's a little shithead. That's what they think off bat. Just because I'm young, I come in laughing with the kids, having fun and stuff. But I'm truly out here doing it because, I don't have kids in it. I have a brother, but I don't coach him. He always goes for other teams and stuff like that, and I want him to, because it's like being coached by your dad. You're getting coached by your brother. Like, who wants to? He already deals with me enough at home. Why does he want to listen to me at a field and have me yell at him and stuff some more?
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like a lot of the other coaches and stuff on the other side are just like, well, then why are you here? Because they have their daddy coaches and stuff like that. They're coaching their own kids or their uncles, brothers, nephews, whatever it is. And it's like, I'm here for the right reasons. Like you said, like, I want to support these kids and get them to where I never reached, or where people I know didn't get to because they didn't have that extra push behind them or that extra help to get them to the next level. And that's where it's like, where are you going with this? Like, these kids that you have on your team, you really trying to help them, or you're just trying to help your kid? Whereas I'm trying to help the whole team. I want to make sure I have the right staff, which I'm building. Like, I have two good coaches that, rock with me every season. But the rest of them, it's like, if their kid's not on the team, they don't want to be there. So it's like, it's hard to find people in the same mindset and stuff where I'm at, where it's like, we're truly here to help these kids, whether it be where they come from, stuff like that. And these other people, they could care less. They're like, oh, how you even get into the game? Like, I don't care. Whereas I'm sitting here like, hey, you need a ride? I'll ask one of the other coaches. I'll pick you up, whoever, to make sure you get there so you can get your chance. You can get your film to show to other coaches and stuff, Because that extra game or two that you might miss because you don't have a ride is a difference between, a D1 college or a D2 college giving you an offer. You have that extra 2-3 minutes. The D1 college is going to have more film to dissect you, see that you're a really good player, and then boom, you got an offer. Whereas if not, the D1's going to be like, oh, this is a short film. Like, I didn't really see much on it. I just saw a couple good plays, but anyone can bust out a couple good plays. They want to see consistency, stuff like that. And that's where the D2 college comes in. They're like, your film isn't bad. You have made a couple good plays. If you make a couple good plays with us, we win a couple games. We, continue doing what we're doing here. And I feel like we could get a lot more kids, especially like what you guys said at Mass. There's not a lot of love in what people do. They're more just like, oh, you're doing that? Oh, that's silly, that's stupid. But they want to hype up all the bad stuff you do in life. Like, just, hood rat stuff. And it's just like, no one really in life is going to get somewhere doing that stuff. Whereas if we work together, build up, especially our youth, we'll have a brighter future. And that's where I come in with my football stuff, because it's just like, I'm not just sitting here coaching 6 to 8 at night for practice and then going home and writing up a couple X and O's and calling it a night. No, like, you got to help them reach out to these colleges. You got to look for these camps that are going to help them bring them to the next level, these leagues, stuff like that. And you got to actually travel and get them out there. And a lot of people are like, well, that's a lot of work. And it's like, okay, but do you want to sit here and put all this time and effort in with all these other kids and stuff like that and not get anywhere with them, or not have anything at the end of the tunnel to be like, hey, like, this person at least went to a D1 college and got a good, scholarship and a good education out of it. Whereas other people are like, oh, you're still hanging around the same town you grew up in, stuff like that, like you're a hometown hero. No one cares out of your county who you are. And then after a couple of years, they're not going to care who you are. But if you go to a college and you break records, you could go win a championship maybe, you know, at least make the playoffs, people and be like, oh yeah, this person was nice. They went to college, you know. Like, it's just a better opportunity for you because you can get that education too. Because obviously there's a life after sports, just like there's a life after a career. You know, you want to retire, you want to have some nice things after. You know, you need to have a job after sports because your body's going to wear down and break down no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. You know.
I wonder if, I think you mentioned it before, like that running back that'll start over the kid that actually deserves the position, right? I wonder if that test is needed for that kid, right? Because maybe the all-star is going to say, no, none of these people know what they're talking about. I'm going to stay with this. Mm-hmm. And after high school, yeah, no D1 schools wanted me. So I'm just going to train for however long it takes until I get what I want. And then on the other end of that conversation, there's a kid that's like, man, I got a bad hand. I definitely should have started. And now I don't have any film or anything just because this kid is the whatever nephew, son of the coach. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to quit.
It happens a lot.
Is it necessary or, I mean, it does
It's not necessary. I mean, there's, like I said, there's always more camps you could do, other teams you could join. You know, like you said, it could be the local high school, but you could join an all-star team where you could actually showcase your talents. It's more just on your drive, like we've been saying, like, you know, life after high school, you know, there's still semi-pro stuff like that, and you could still get noticed out of there. You know, it's happened. People have gone, even in NFL, people have gone kicked out for substance abuse or, you know, assault and battery, some dumb decision they decide to do.
Fighting dogs.
Yeah, anything like that. And,
Shout
you know,
out Mike Vick.
They get kicked out.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, they get kicked out. They join these, like, the Canadian League or whatever, something like that. And then in a year or two, you see them get redrafted to a team who actually needs them in that position. Mm-hmm. You know, and some people do change their life around, but
Ocho Cinco.
Mm-hmm. There's all types of sports, honestly.
I don't even know what happened to him.
He just was done after that. He was just like, you know.
I remember him like leaving the league, but I feel like he made like a little comeback and then left.
Yeah,
again.
he left with Cincinnati Bengals, and then he came back, got traded to the Patriots, was there, and then he just left because he was just like, you know what?
I'm gonna go.
Party. I don't want to be here no more.
I mean, shit.
But it happens, like we were saying, like, you know, you go out, you socialize, you find other stuff that you want to invest your time and energy in, and just go after it. You know, you just gotta. Like you say, you just find something you love. He might have loved football, but he loved something else more. He was like, you know what? I could go own a bunch of properties and not destroy my body and still, like, go work as a trainer or something somewhere. Like, there's all these other life after sports, after business, whatever.
Oh, definitely. Like, I don't know if y'all saw, but recently, well, I'll say about a month ago, when Paul Pierce went live.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, how you wasn't he was a coach, right? Or
he was a player, but he did help coach afterwards.
I know he was. No, I'm saying like right now. I'm pretty sure.
He wasn't a coach. He was an analyst.
Yeah, the TNT. He was on like the TNT crew with Shaq.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he lost his job because he decided to go live with a blunt in his mouth and a bunch of strippers. Yo, honestly, Paul Pierce, you're a GOAT. Aside from that, even including that, because seeing that from you was hilarious.
And then you see he actually is dropping his own weed strand.
Yeah,
that's The Truth. It's called The Truth.
What?
That's honestly awesome.
A lot of people
Shout
doing
out Paul
this.
Pierce. I'm
Mike Tyson.
gonna grab that shit.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, doesn't he have a farm or something?
Something like that.
He
I wouldn't be surprised he owned a tiger.
Yeah, right.
Honest, I know you gotta look at it. Like, what didn't the man do?
Feeds his pigeons Fiji water only.
Again, that goes back to money can buy whatever.
Yeah, right.
You
know why he feeds his gives his pigeons Fiji water, right?
No way.
Why?
He's like, I'd never give my pigeons something like I don't drink or eat, so I drink Fiji water. So my pigeons, they're getting Fiji water.
I can imagine him with the lisp and everything. I give him Fiji water. Nah, honestly, you know what I try to imagine sometimes? Imagine go a couple years back. Put yourself in Michael Jackson's shoes. You have a zoo in your backyard. That's actually insane. Like, that's how you know you made it in life. You know what I mean? Because
Never mind all the amusement park rides and shit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have, like, Drake has a big house, but I couldn't imagine Michael Jackson's actual house.
He's like, hey kids, you want to go on a safari?
Yeah, he's got like
Mike
kids
was
in
a goat. Aside from that,
a designated room.
I just think it's crazy, like, to own those animals. Like a giraffe is probably like $500,000.
Especially like half
Like,
the stuff he owned was
he had
illegal.
exotic
Yeah, it's
animals.
illegal.
How do you take care of a draft? You have to hire somebody to do
Yeah,
that, right?
oh, definitely. He definitely had like freaking Franklin Park Zoo.
Zookeepers,
Yeah, like think about it. He had Komodo dragons. Those are probably highly.
Those are illegal.
He had like gazelles and shit. Like you definitely got like those were fresh off a boat. Like you had to like go through a black market sale to get those animals because you're not going to the zoo and like, hey, I mean, you never know. It's Michael Jackson, so the dude did get what he wanted in life, especially little kids. But
Did a quick thriller.
yeah, they probably was just like, do a dance move and we'll give you the giraffe, and he just started dancing or something.
It's probably how it went down.
I just think like, I don't know. I feel like back to like the career things. I think a lot of people like tend to just fail with drive. Like how I just brought up Michael Jackson. That's how I would want to be with my music career. You know what I mean? Like I want to go out as an icon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just go out as another rapper, another artist, not even rapper. I want to be looked at as like he did this and that. Like
What you stand for.
yeah, like I want to really be known for what I did, not actually, let me take that back because I don't care to be known. I want to just be successful with my career.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be able to like just inspire. At the end of the day, like I want later down the line, in say 20 years, I want to hear the younger generation sampling my music like Drake did with Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like I don't want my music to just be like, oh, he was another artist in this year. Like nah, I want to make sure I'm relevant for decades. Like I'm not
I
just
feel that.
like I want to literally, as Drake said, I want to die like a motherfucking legend. Like that ain't no. It's not just go in the booth and record. It's like go in the booth and do what you truly love. Type vibe. And I feel like that's why me and like Kyron can relate a lot because I sit here and I talk to him about his football team, and I truly know he wants to go global with this. Like he doesn't want to be just Wolfpack in Mass. You know what I mean? Like he want to be Wolfpack beating the outer state teams when he goes and travels. He doesn't want to just win in state. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna say. Where like I relate to what you're just saying because, like, you know, I have younger coaches too who help me out here and there, but they're still in high school or they're just going to college, and it's like, you know, it's kind of harder when you're there because you know you don't have the like how I have. You know, some of them are in high school, so they don't have a vehicle because they're still young, or you know, that's not what their main purpose is right now is to get a car or a license. So I feel that a lot, and you know, with younger coaches too, especially the ones right out of high school, you know, like younger 20s. A lot of them I see like battle like where I don't. You know, they want to go out, they want to party, they want to have fun with their friends, they want to go do stuff, but you got to actually like sacrifice time and effort to do the things you want to do. You know, running a organization, it's just like running a career, whatever, a business, whatever it is you're doing, you gotta just have that drive where it's like, you know, you gotta miss out, just like that saying, you gotta miss out on fun to stack funds. You know, you gotta miss out on a good time to build your business, build whatever. You know, there's plenty of times where I could go to a function, a party, the club, whatever, with friends and family or whatever the situation is, the family parties I've missed out on, you know, just any real like social gatherings that, you know, young people thrive for just to, you know, be relevant. But they're missing out that like if you know what you want to do young, whereas like I had with this football organization, you know, you just want to put more energy and effort into it. Like, you know, you start manifesting it. You want it to like blow up, you know, but there's stuff you got to do behind the scenes. There's, times where it's like, go out and have fun, or sit here and build connections, or, make some money for your organization, whatever it may be. And, you gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day. Whereas like other people be like, hey, come out, we're gonna have a good time. You need to have a good time, stuff like that. But it's like, nah, like I really need this connection. Like for me, as it's like, I really need to know this scout or this person who runs this league or a team, especially if I'm facing them in the future. I want to, work with them in the future to schedule, our teams to face stuff like that to help build our team's hype for one another. And, you just gotta do the stuff for the right reasons, I feel like, at the end of the day, too. Whereas, like, he said he wants to, like, branch out, be something that blows up and then be able to help, artists in this area create a crew. That's what I'm trying to do with my coaches and my players, stuff like that. You're trying to build these teams because you don't win just you and 2 or 3 other people. Like, you got to have the rest of the team, which is nowadays 20 to 30 people. And then on top of that, staff that's between 3 and 5 to 10 people, depending what you're doing, how many people you need around to help out, stuff like that. And, it's like a business. You got to sit here and you got to, have a back end that helps you, as in like people who invest in you, invest in your ideas, what you're trying to do with your team. People who sit there and help out, get the kids waters and stuff like that while you're coaching or watching them. People help get kids to and from football, or, you got to pick them up from school, bring them right to practice, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's a skill in itself, right, is self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people really underestimate it. Let's say football isn't going well for a while. Can you stay there? Mm-hmm. Can you handle that? Can you envision your team getting better over time? Like, and there's a saying, right? Anybody can work out for like 2 weeks, right? Can you work out for 2 months? What about 6? What would you look like if you worked out for 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's my answer to that one.
A little bit of roids too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely some needle action going on with him. But back to the whole, how you said the working out thing. It's really about drive, consistency. I don't know. I there's like with me was my mental viewing of my catalog and what I want to be as a character. I have 3 major keys: consistency, staying humble, and it's just making sure I'm always focused. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the way you're really gonna strive for greatness. If you stay true to yourself and you just know what you really want at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, like opinions, they're always gonna be in the picture no matter what you do. That's why you gotta use them to your strength. You can't let it knock you down, because if they, like, you definitely heard the saying, if they're talking about you, you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, if they have something to say about you and what you're doing, it's because you're doing it the right way. And there's obviously going to be that envy in the pot. It's like, damn, why can't I do that when he's doing it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just weird. The world spins definitely a little funky, but
For sure.
It's like, I don't even know. It's hard, honestly, to really like sit there and think about a career. Like, obviously, you're not gonna be able to wake up and be like, I want to be a lawyer, because you gotta put your years in school. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta go to school for, I'm gonna say, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think it's like 8-12 years to be like a wicked good lawyer, or like a physician's assistant in the hospital. You know what I mean? Like, you really got to put your time into the books. And it's like, with you put your time into your playbooks. Like, you know what you really want for your players when they're out there. You want to do it the most professional way with your craft. It's not, I just want to be a coach.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a Bill Belichick, but on a different type of timing. You want to do, you know what I mean?
In your
it's
own
like,
way.
Exactly. Like, no matter what you do, Like I forgot what I was watching. I was watching some, but it was back with the whole comparison thing. When you're doing something and someone compares you to something, it's not like you're jacking their swag. It's just at the end of the day, you're doing what they was doing, but you're adding your little twist to it, and that's what makes you. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown. That's the same person, just two different generations. You know what I mean? Chris Brown can dance and sing like Michael. Why do you think he did Michael Jackson's tribute at the Grammys? Because they know he was the closest thing to Michael Jackson. But he had his own twist to his things. That's what makes him Chris Brown. That's how I look at it. LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Who's the GOAT? You know what I mean? It's like they always compared, even Kobe Bryant. They like had those videos of him taking shots the same way Michael did. He analyzed his game plan, his strategy, and he just added his own sauce to it. And I feel like that's what it is with anything. And I feel like no matter what, you can add your own sauce to a certain potential. Like, it's going to have so much potential to it, to the point it can't be neglected. You know what I mean?
For
I
sure.
feel like it's like, fuck. I forgot. It was a saying Pop Smoke said. It was crazy because, like, I don't know. I sit, just because, like, I'm in the music industry, I sit and I watch a lot of interviews because I like to learn how, for example, if I sat in an interview, I want to know the type of response I want to give to the person interviewing to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I just want to go in there and talk to you. Like, nah, I want to really build a conversation with you. And I remember he was like, what's meant to be will always win. And the evil will never prevail. You know what I mean? It's like, it's more of a saying, like, I took it as, like, if you gonna make it, you gonna make it. It's gonna happen no matter what. You gonna make it happen. If it's not meant to work, it's not gonna work. That's how I look at it. And that's why, like, with music, like, I for example, like, I look at my music. Sometimes I listen to my music and I look at it from a third person perspective. Like, even if it wasn't me, I still listen to it because that's what I like in music. That's why I know what to do when I go into the studio. It's like, I know what my generation wants to hear with it. I'm not over here trying to do something that's out my comfort zone or too in my comfort zone. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a challenge to me, and that's why you level up the more you go. Because it's like, you're not laid back doing it. You're still trying. Even though you know what you're doing, you're still going to have that extra boost because you're like, yo, I want to get it to this point. You're not going to stay at the same point you're already at.
It's like, I don't know if you guys have heard about the book Six Thinking Hats.
I honestly did hear about that. I don't know what it's about, though.
So it's basically what you're saying in a nutshell. So Six Thinking Hats is a way to think about anything, right? It could be a problem, could be music, football team, and just giving you examples of the different hats. Like, one hat will be a negativity hat. It's like, you know, I'm going to look at this with some criticism, some healthy criticism, right? And then, you know, I'm going to take off this hat and I'm going to put on the positivity hat. Like, what is the best case scenario? What am I doing right to make myself feel good? And then there's like a realist. I don't remember all of them.
It's like alter egos, basically.
Yeah, basically. And like, there's like a financial hat. What am I going to do with finances and stuff because it's important? And
It's just all the aspects you got to look at.
yeah, it's hard to do because, right, we're just one person.
You got to put it all into perspective. Like, with him, like, perfect example. He's going to have his days. He's going to wake up and be like, damn, fuck, I got to coach a football game. You know what I mean? Even though that's what he loves, he might wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Definitely
Happens to everybody.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I've had my moments. I go in the studio and I'm just like, fuck, like, I got a studio session and I truly
I don't even want to be here.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to record today? Like, and then you never know. Sometimes those days turn out to be your best days. Like, your worst days are your best days sometimes. Like, for example, if he woke up and he's like, fuck, I don't want to go coach today. I don't feel like coaching. He's still going to go. Because, you know, that's what he has to do at the end of the day.
Most of those days that I don't feel like going, my kids be ready. They're
Exactly.
just teed up. They're
That's
just
what I'm
ready
saying.
to go.
Like, you're going to go and then it actually is going to turn into a whole different direction than you assumed just by off of what you woke up off. You know what I mean? Like, he goes, he wins all his games for the days. Mind you, he said he didn't want to coach that day. You just never know. Like, perfect saying, tables turn and bridges burn. That's how you got to look at any situation you're in life. It's like you got to be ready for the unexpected. Because no matter what, like it could flip the switch in the matter of a second.
Yeah, that's the butterfly effect too. Imagine if you didn't show up that day, and when you would have won all of those games, maybe you lose. Maybe everybody's unhappy
because you got to forfeit.
Yeah, and right, maybe somebody steps in and they don't know what's going on. They can't handle it.
Yeah,
And that snowballs into something maybe you didn't think it would have. You thought it was just one day, but maybe it's not.
Stuff
You know
like
what I
that
mean?
definitely happens. I feel like you just got to be ready for whatever. Because you never know. And not only that, but you got to be able to adapt. There's so many times that, like, stuff's happened, I feel like, in the past with me, and even seeing with other people, it's just like they plan it out. They have all this thing in their head. And all of a sudden, something happens, and it drastically changes everything. And it's like, you got to adapt. You got to be able to. If not, you're just going to fall behind and be lost and be like, damn, I don't even know what to do now. Now I got to stop doing what I'm doing. Whereas you could just be like, you know what? Whatever. It just made it a little bit harder, but we'll still get it done.
Yeah.
And just get it done.
Still on the same road, but maybe
Yeah.
you just got a flat tire.
Exactly.
Things will never go as planned, but they'll come pretty close if you get lucky. Maybe they don't, and you end up somewhere totally different. But you can't give up at the end of the day, right?
It's like Kobe. He had Mamba mentality, you know what I mean? And people hear that and they're like, what the fuck is that? But that was him telling himself he could do whatever he wanted to. As long as he like
Mentally prepared.
that, and as long as he really put himself into situation, you know what I mean? Like in the equation, like if you remove yourself from a situation, then the energy isn't there. But if you mentally tell yourself, yo, I'm gonna be here, you're gonna physically tell yourself you're gonna be there. You're gonna physically move to that position. Like Kobe, for example, like he got drafted and he was good already, but I mean, I'm not too sure, but I don't even think he started his rookie year. You know what I mean? And look at the legacy he left though. Like people look at him as another Michael Jordan, and it's like it's because he told himself he was gonna be like that. And I think that's like very like important. You just gotta remind yourself what you really are gonna be at the end of the day. Because if you don't, I feel like if you don't remind yourself on a daily basis, it's like you don't want it. You know what I mean? Like you
don't
gotta
really want it.
manifest the life you want to live every day of life, every second of life. Like I can't lie, I'll sit there every day and listen to my music because I look at it deeper than what it actually is. It's like it's art. Like I could listen to my music and be listening, but block out every lyric, and I'm just listening to the sounds. Because I'm like, this is what boosts my adrenaline. This is what boosts my mental to keep doing what the fuck I'm doing. It's so weird. Like, honestly, even from a music aspect, like, making music it's a lot deeper than just recording. You know what I mean? It's like, it's knowing frequencies, all that. Like, I remember when I went to the studio I go to for the first time, like, I really made a song. Like, I sat and wrote a whole song. And after, like, recording the whole song, I was just listening to the beat and I was like, what the fuck? Like, to think that I just went in there and I just laid my voice on this and made it into a story. It was just like, it's crazy what you can really do. Like, even with you with the football, you want to embrace kids, you want to inspire kids to play football because that's what you love at the end of the day. Plus, you know what they're going to be capable of doing in the long run. It's not like, oh, no, I just want you on my football team. No, I want the best for your future. I'd rather see you get out the gutter in the mud playing football than going to a trap house and making money off drugs. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you really want the bright tunnel for them. You don't want the dark road for your kids. And that's good. That's what makes you the coach you are today. That's how you got to look at it. Because you're really telling the youth what they're capable of doing. Because sometimes I feel like the younger generations from us definitely need to be reminded about what they're really capable of doing. Because I feel like that one moment they realize, well, not realize, the one moment they think they can't do what they're really capable of doing, they just let it go. And I think that's what really needs to be worked on around the world. Because I think these upcoming generations, I think sooner than later, you're going to start noticing professional sports dying down. Like, everything is going to go to electronic, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, for sure.
like, there's soon, I think within the next 3 decades, maybe could be longer, but my personal opinion and assumption, I think within the next 3 decades, there will not be professional sports. I think the world's going to be too advanced for people to even want to pick up a basketball and grind through college to go to the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just going to get to the point people look at that like, that's weird. You know what I mean?
Or
like,
why are we doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think the world's going to get to a point that it's just going to be a regularly program, like a scheduled program. Like, I feel like we're all going to be to the point they're going to isolate and make everyone on the same page, if that makes sense. Like
globalization.
Like, I feel like it's not going to be like, you want to be a basketball player, you want to be a dancer, you want to be a football player. It's like, no, we all want to be a lawyer. I feel like that's what it's going to be like. I feel like they're going to force the youth into careers they don't want to be in. I feel like that's what a lot of the younger generation is going to end up turning out into. Like, for example, they're going to make most of the kids want to be cops. Like, I think shit is just going to, like, hit the fan, like, really hard with society. Like, and I think COVID was just the warm-up. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah.
And even though it was a stretch as bad, and I still don't think it's over, but I think there's a lot more to come than this. Like, this was just a hello, shit's going to shit, and then shit's really going to go to shit.
Yeah, man.
So to wrap things up, because it is getting close to the end of the podcast, where do you see like your music and stuff going in a couple of years now that you gave us, you know, your world insight of where you think's gonna happen in a few years?
I personally think we're gonna go global. I think we're really gonna have a run. Like, and when I mean we, I mean the people around me, not just me. Like, I wanna have my own clothing line. Like, I wanna do more than just the music. I wanna be able to touch people in all different areas. I wanna be able to say, if I got a show, I bump into a fashion designer and the designer's like, I love your work. Aside from the music, let's talk about, let's do something. Like, I don't want to just be, I want to be an artist mainly, but I want to touch other fields.
So you want to be like an icon, like some that stands for something.
Like, I want to be like a Kanye West, for example. Like, Kanye, biggest shoe right now. Yeezy, like, Jordan's big, but if you look at it, Yeezy just partnered up with Gap. Like, that's insane. Like,
Dude's a billionaire.
Exactly. Like, he flipped the switch on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he flipped the switch on everyone like this. He went from being his net worth $150 million to being a billionaire, like that. You know what I mean? And it's not even about the money. I just want to leave a mark behind. Like
impact the youth, be like an inspiration, stuff like that.
I just want to tell people to just shoot for the stars, aim for the moon. Words of Pop Smoke. It's like, I remember hearing that saying for the first time, and it was like, that's truly what I want to do. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody tells me. If it takes me 10 years, it takes me 10 years. If I blow up within the next 2, then I blow up within the next 2. And no matter what, like, I got it tatted on me. That's how I know forever in my life I'm going to make music. And regardless of the fact, like, my best friend that passed away, Kyron knows him too. He wanted the best for me with music. And, like, that's why I think of it every night. I pray and I say it. Like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make dreams come reality for him, mainly. Because, like, he always told me we was going to do it. That's how I got to look at it.
That's good stuff, man. You definitely have the right outlook. And, yeah, we'll wrap things up. Any last words?
No, just thank you for coming on our podcast, you know.
Appreciate y'all.
And hopefully we can have you back on again for a round 2, you know.
Oh, for
talk
sure.
about some different things.
We're going to get deeper into this shit. For sure.
But yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks for coming on again.
Appreciate you having me.
And, yeah, see you on the next one, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.